How many of you are ready to learn some Jedi Master marketing tricks to help take your business to the next level?
How amazing were Peta and Natalie yesterday? I swear, I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about, what am I excited about now? What excites me now? What excites me now? Did you guys feel this sense of relief when the why doesn't have to be this big, overwhelming, scary thing that you have to figure out? That it can just be easy? So in the middle of the night, I was excited about the fact that I'm in a huge hotel bed and I get to sleep like a starfish.
Not so exciting for me.
Dream come true. And Dave MacArthur, were you guys so inspired by his story? I love when he quoted Mark Twain and he said there are 2 days that are the most important days of your life. One is the day that you're born. 2 is the day that you figure out why you were born. And he added a 3rd, the day that you discover the vehicle to help you manifest or materialize why you were born. So now that you have your vision and your why, and clearly we have all found the vehicle, yes? Now what? Does it just happen, or do we get to take action? And in order to take action, we get to have some tools, yes? Would you like for us to share with you some of the tools that you get to master in order to be incredibly successful in this business over time?
One of the skills that we'd like to share with you first is something that we believe is imperative to not just your success in network marketing, but in any business for that matter, and that's branding yourself. Now, I am absolutely obsessed with language. I look at words, I look at wordplay all the time. And so when I looked at the word how, I looked at it really, really closely because we're all obsessed with how to do it. Would you agree? And what I noticed was that if you look at the word how really, really closely, what do you guys actually notice about this word? All you have to do is with a simple rearranging of the letters is that you'll notice that the how is really all about the who. As in, who do you choose to show up as in the world? Who do you choose to be? Who does the world deserve for you to be? And most importantly, who are you willing to become in order to inspire others to live their greatest lives? That is the foundation of your brand. We're done. So by the time you leave here this weekend, you're going to have a brand new awareness of how everything you do, say, post, tweet, Snapchat, text, every selfie that you take, every article of clothing that you wear, every conversation that you have is a direct reflection of your brand. Now, speaking of clothing, notice Eden's shoes.
Papa Pink.
And do you notice my pocket square?
Papa Pink.
And this is entirely on purpose because we are constantly sending a very, very real message that says we're synergistic, we're a unit. Yes, we absolutely have our own individual flair, but we're 100% aligned. And it's important for you to show up this way as well, so that you can show up powerfully and congruent, so that no matter where you go, you leave no questions or no discussion about what you do. Instead, you're going to be met with questions about how you do it. And here's the really fun part. When people ask you how you do it, all you have to say is, you know what? The how, that's actually really easy. It's why I do it. Would you mind if I share why I do it with you?
Is it fair to say that many of you were introduced to Isagenix and you were so excited that you literally dove headfirst into your business without taking the opportunity to really think about what you might want your brand to look like? That's okay, that's what we're here to share with you today. We're actually going to walk you through a process to help you identify your niche so that you can differentiate yourself from the rest based on your specific goals, your ideas, and your personal mission. In your workbook on page 7, you'll find a list of questions that will help you identify your brand. But hold up, don't answer them just yet. Our strong recommendation is that you wait until you've experienced the rest of the event, and once you get home and you can be grounded and focused, answer them then. But you're gonna find questions like, what do I want to convey to the world? What's my message? And what can people count on from me? And how do I want people to feel when they land on my page or when they meet me in person? Can you see how knowing the answer to these questions will help you not only online but offline as well?
Did you notice that Eden said offline as well? We're going to clear the air right now so there's no confusion whatsoever. Yes, we're going to speak with you today about how to use Facebook for business. How many of you are excited to learn how to use Facebook for business? Great, and we want you to understand something extremely important. Facebook is only one avenue with which to build your business. Only one. Please hear me say that again. It's only one avenue. It's also only one avenue where your brand matters. And here's why. If I see you posting certain things on Facebook, and then I see you out in public doing something that's completely opposite of what you're speaking about, it's going to crush your credibility. Now, ladies, how many of you have done the whole online dating thing? Be honest. Come on. I know the stats. I got married because of it. I know the stats. Now, how many of you have shown up on a date and the guy didn't exactly look like his picture? It's kind of like that, isn't it? So, for example, if I see you posting about healthy living, and then I'm out and about, and I see you smoking a cigarette at a bar, the first thing I'm going to think is that you're a fraud. And the same thing goes if I see you eating processed food. I promise you that the results that you're getting in your business are directly proportional to the message that you're sending to the world and then how you're actually operating in the world. And so if you're not sure whether or not to post something on Facebook or say something to a prospect, then simply check back into your brand identity questions. And if the answer isn't a clear-cut yes, then don't say it, don't post it, don't think about it, because it's going to be a misrepresentation about what you want to communicate. And so now it's time for you to construct your company. How many of you would agree that all great companies require people who are enrolled in a common vision? And is it pretty safe to say that Jim and Kathy Coover have done a remarkable job of enrolling us into their vision? And here's what they've done so remarkably well. They've surrounded themselves with the best partners to help them do that. And that's why we have the best corporate team in the entire network marketing profession here at Isagenix. Hands down.
Yes.
And would you agree that your company deserves to have the best possible partners as well? So would it be okay with you if we shared some tips on how to attract the ideal business partners? Are you sure? You sure? All right. So on page 11 of your 90-day game plan, and don't have to flip through it yet, you're going to notice a very awesome Who Do You Know memory jogger, and that's going to help you build out in your entire list. Right now, though, we're going to help you create a very specific and different kind of list, a list that's 100% in line with your vision, your brand, and your identity. Now imagine for a second that every single person that you called or messaged about Isagenix immediately said yes. How many of you would be ecstatic if literally, everyone you ever spoke with about Isagenix said, yes, I'm in? How many of you would be absolutely ecstatic? Now, see, some of the leaders down here are laughing and smiling because they know where I'm going, and here's why. Stop and think for a second. Do you really want to work with your current boss or your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or your coworker? How about your dishonest neighbor? Do you really want them on your team? Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of getting away from them in the first place? The reality is we have an abundance of people to choose from, literally billions of people. So don't waste another second, literally another second, thinking about someone who's not aligned with you.
And when you grasp that you are in control of who you partner with, that you are the CEO of a multi-million-dollar network marketing company, and you become selective about those partnerships, is when your business will change. Now, when I said you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar network marketing company, how many of you were like, huh? Is she crazy? I'm barely cycling twice a week. I haven't even enrolled my first person yet. Anyone had that thought? Let me ask you a question. Do you consider Lynn Hagedorn to be a multi-million-dollar network marketer? Yes. Did Lynn have to start cycling twice a week before she could cycle hundreds of times per week? So then, in all reality, the only difference between you and a multi-million-dollar earner is what you decide to do with the opportunity and how you choose to master some of the skills that you're learning this weekend. So we agree that you own the exact same position as Lynn or anybody else who has had huge success with this business. Yes? So, Mr. and Mrs. CEO, on page 8 in your workbook, you're going to find a boardroom table. And around that table are 10 spots. 10 people will have the distinct privilege of getting a seat at your table and being a part of seeing out your vision with you. Notice I said the word privilege. It is a privilege to be in your company. It is a privilege to have you as a partner. Keep that in mind as we go forward. And hold off on filling out this boardroom table just for a moment, because one by one, each person will be required to buy into your vision. And you, just the same, will be required to buy into theirs. However, before any of this can happen, they absolutely must share your core values. This is non-negotiable. It wasn't that long ago when Zach and I were feeling kind of stuck in our business. We found ourselves repeating the same names over and over and over again. Can you guys relate? And it stopped feeling fun. And we looked at each other one day and we had this realization. We're going about this all wrong. It's not about names on a paper. It's about people who have values that are aligned with our own. And this was when our business changed. We took ourselves through an exercise, which we're going to walk you through in a moment. And this exercise will be your first taste of developing a very real posture. And what is posture? It's a word we hear thrown around all the time. What is it and why is it important? Posture puts you in the position of being needed, not needy. Posture allows you to remain emotionally unattached from your interactions with people because you're clear on your vision and where you're going. Posture gets people's ears to perk up and eyes to open. How many of you love the swagger of Susan Sly? And how many of you can just sense that confidence in Peta and the fire in Natalie? Those traits are all a part of their posture. So you're going to fill in those 10 spots with the character traits a person must have to even get consideration to have a seat at your table. So let's go ahead and take 2 minutes and write down the 10 non-negotiable character traits and core values that you're seeking. And there's a few ideas that'll pop up on the screen to get you started. Thank you.
Okay, pens down, hands up.
Awesome. And now that you've done that, let's take another quick minute or two and write down some names that come to mind when you look at the core values that you wrote down. And keep in mind, these are people who are not yet in your Isagenix business. So let's take 2 more minutes.
My wife is giving me the sign to say hands up, pens down, please. Yes, dear.
Now, as you look at that list, how many of you are fired up to work with those 10 people? And are you a little bit surprised that maybe a couple of the names that you thought would for sure be on the list aren't on that list? You know those names that you keep going over and over, both in reality and in your mind? And you just realized that you don't need to be chasing them because they're not even aligned with what you want. Can you guys all just say, ah?
So from this point forward, unless a person meets your core values, you don't enroll them as a partner of yours. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And this is what here's how clean this can be. Yesterday we were introduced to some incredibly brand new, beautiful packaging, yes? But what was made very clear? That the contents inside remain the same. So if you're in communication with John, and one of your words is integrity, and John operates out of integrity, then you cross John's name off the list. But what remains? Integrity. Jim and Kathy Cooper rolled out an incredible executive team out here, all incredibly high-level executives with incredible skill sets, yes? But is it fair to say we could also find some potentially equivalent resumes? But what did Jim and Kathy really look at first? Do they match our core values? And if the answer is no, then it doesn't matter what your resume looks like. Isn't that true? Because when you do find the people that share your core values, that share your vision, they're going to go to the end of the earth and back with you. Because they understand that energetically you're congruent with not just your own message, but you're in alignment to help them carry out theirs. Does that feel a little bit better? We're going to stop chasing people now? Yes, we're only attracting those core values. Who's in agreement? Peter talked about making it easy. This makes it easy, I promise you. I promise you. And so now that you've identified the type of partner that you deserve in business, the big question is like, okay, so what now? What do I say to them? How do I approach them, right? Well, later today, the remarkable Susan Sly is going to give you her multi-million-dollar Hot Mess Express connecting techniques. What we've also provided for you in your workbooks is a tested script that can either be used on the phone or sent via Facebook message. Now, did you hear that I said on the phone first? Here's why. Social media is great. Facebook is fantastic. You've heard it before, you're going to hear it again. This is a belly-to-belly business. That's a lie. This is an ab-to-belly business. And then they get into Isagenix, and then it's an ab-to-ab business. But can we all agree, phones first, Facebook second. Deal? Not enough hands are up. Deal? There we go.
God, give yourselves a round of applause. What an amazing audience. Last year was our very first celebration, and to be here and see so many of our friends in the audience is just, feels so good. Thank you. And here's what we can promise you. People are watching you. From the very moment they catch even a whisper that you're doing something new, they're going to keep tabs on your development. Some of them, they'll join you right away, sure. But others, they're going to wait to see how consistent you are, how committed you are, how serious you are about it. And then they might choose to join you. And then there are some that'll watch in hopes that you fail. True, sad, none of your business. Your business is your brand, and how well you develop that brand is essential to your growth. Now, you're probably wondering how. How can I write, or in some cases, rewrite the way the world perceives me? We all arrive to Isagenix with a various history, set of circumstances, wins, losses, et cetera, et cetera. How can I rewrite my story to my network so that they can really see who I am today, who I'm becoming, who I'm committed to being, and who I'm committed to being going forward? And you have the thought, okay, I get that it's the who I'm becoming, but what are some day-to-day action steps that I can implement in order to write this story authentically? And we're going to share 3 key principles to assist you with that today. And these keys will really help for you to develop your brand. And these aren't in your workbook, so make sure that you listen closely and take some notes.
And we're going to cover some technical things which will require you to be in front of your computer to take advantage of. But don't worry, what we've actually done is we've pre-recorded video trainings for you to go through the technical details, which corporate has generously agreed to email out to you. It'll be hosted on their server, so you guys can feel free to watch them there. Just very generic, basic, step-by-step how to do it. So key number 1 is establishing credibility through consistency, curiosity, and attraction. Remember how we said that people are watching you? This is what they're looking for. Was it just a single post? Was it just one flash in the pan article and then you just got bored or you got defeated and stopped? You're using Facebook to build relationships. And so let's put this in the perspective of dating, because the more you'll look at it, the more you'll realize network marketing and dating are identical. So let's say you go on this amazing date and the person is telling you, I never thought I'd meet someone like you. You're amazing. I can't wait to call my mom and tell her that I found the one, that you actually exist. And you want to believe them so badly because they're energetic, they're enthusiastic, they sound confident. But then the next day, you don't hear from them. And then a week goes by and nothing, and you're super confused because you thought they really were into you. And then you just don't understand. Suddenly, after 2.5 weeks, they finally call you, and they try and re-engage, and they make up all these excuses as if nothing happened. Are you going to believe them? Odds are no, because trust in relationships is built on consistency, and building your brand is no different. Now, on the other side of the coin, there's how are you going to attract the people that want to work with you, or in our earlier example, the people that are going to want to date you. Now, I want you to think of this as an act of seduction. Who likes seduction? That's a sexy word, right? Seduction. Everybody say seduction.
Seduction.
What's more attractive? Somebody who just dumps it all on you all at once and just gives everything away? Or someone who keeps you guessing, wanting more, wondering? What's more attractive? The second. Same thing. So keep them wondering, keep them guessing. When are they going to post again? What are they going to say next? And this is why you'll never see us advertising discounted products on our personal timelines, ever. And here's why. Because we're not going to give you the goods until we know that you're qualified to even buy us a drink. Does that make sense? So put it this way, spamming your wall is the equivalent of being the guy or the gal who gets up in the middle of the bar, stands on a stool, and says, hey, drinks on me. Now, everyone's going to grab the free drink, right? But what are the odds that that person goes home alone? Pretty high. And why is that? Because there was no real value. There was no real connection. And I guarantee you that if you look at your numbers, if you look at your retention on the people that you just give it all away to for free versus the people that truly saw value in you and your offer, your numbers will tell the exact same thing. How many of you get frustrated when you just give somebody a discounted system or pack, or even buy a system for them and you just don't get it? How many of you have had that experience? So many of you are lying right now. Just look at your numbers. Be mysterious, be bold, be brave. The ones that you're looking for, they're going to come begging to have a piece of what you got.
Key number 2, establish credibility through consistency, curiosity, and attraction. The bigger you get, the larger your target will become. And guess what? That's actually a good thing. Because if you don't have haters, you're not making enough noise. And they can hate all they want. They just can't do it on your playground. How many of you have those negative Nancys in your life? You know that those people, they criticize everything, they're negative about everything? It's that rotten apple that publicly made the pyramid scheme post on your Facebook timeline. Okay, we're gonna keep this strategy very, very simple. You ready? It's called unfriend or block. If you want to fill up that boardroom table with people who have the qualities that you've written down, then you got to clear out the junk and create space for those people to come into your life. And now I know this is a sensitive subject, but all you need to do is ask yourself a very simple question. Does this person provide value in my life on my path to my mission? And if the answer is no, then there you go. And if you're thinking, well, everyone is my teacher, I get to learn from them, you're right. And it's not worth jeopardizing your big vision. Nothing is. If you can't trust a person to not publicly demean and criticize you, then you can't allow them access to your company, your potential customers, and business partners.
And we're not saying to go out and unfriend everyone you know, even though I know some of you would like to, but that's why we like to use Facebook lists. Now, how many of you are currently building your Isagenix part-time? And how many of you are uncomfortable posting on Facebook because you're concerned that your boss or your coworkers will see what you're posting, or even some of your family members? Now, how many of you aren't raising your hands because your boss or your coworkers are sitting next to you right now? I love seeing the look on people's faces like they got me. So all you need to do is put people on specific lists. That way, when it comes to what you want, you can market to specific people in specific ways and not have to worry about certain somebodies seeing it, right? For those of you that like, well, I worry about what my family thinks or if they're going to criticize me, so I don't want them to see that, right? Have you guys had that experience? I know I'm a recovering, family hider. So here's a snapshot of where you'll go on Facebook. But again, this is covered in the video to teach you step by step how to use this feature.
But wait, there's more. You guys want more? What about those nights when you decide to go out with some friends and your BFF posts that unflattering photo of you on your timeline for everyone to see, and you see it and you're like, right?
How many of you are worried about that right now after the start party?
Who can relate to that? It's not great for the story you're writing either. So in order to be in complete control of whether or not a tag gets posted to your wall, all you want to do is adjust your privacy settings, and that will also be detailed in the video that you will be receiving. And now the final principle, key number 3, becoming the expert, providing value through articles, videos, and celebration marketing. Now here's the point of this. The whole point of all of it is this. You want somebody in your network to wake up one morning, whether it's a day, a month, a week, a year, 10 years, after you start your Isagenix business, you want them to look in the mirror, and it's the day they decide to change their life. I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm gonna lose the weight. I can't go into this job one more day. I can't take it. I'm gonna call Emily and Hayden. They're helping people like me all the time. Got it? Exciting? Now, one very simple strategy on how to establish yourself as an expert is by sharing articles that are aligned with your personal brand. But don't just post a link to the article. Provide some insight. Engage your audience by asking a question. So it might be something like, I found this article fascinating regarding the current state of the economy in corporate America. I'm certainly glad that I have a vehicle for my family to receive additional income. What are your thoughts on this?
And another technique that we love is something called celebration marketing. And this is really all about celebrating your team and letting their success story be your success. And what it's really all about is putting people up on a pedestal. And as a business owner, this benefits you in two ways. On the one hand, it proves that what you're always talking about is actually working, and that gives you social proof, which is priceless. And on the other hand, it shows people that they're part of something bigger, part of a community, which they are. And then what it does is it gives people recognition. And recognition in the real world and in the social world is the exact same thing. Quick little saying about recognition that I love is that women cry for it and men die for it. What it's doing is it's tapping right into the emotional side of people. So that when you're showing your network what's happening, they see that it's the kind of love that they would receive if they join your team and come to the party. Does that make sense? So who can agree to do more celebrating?
And you can get creative, use photos. I'm so inspired by my girl Audrey. At 23, she's financially free. Former hairstylist, and she's earning a multiple six-figure income. Just another reason why I love what I get to do every single day. Hashtag hair toss.
Let's get that trending, hashtag hair toss Moss.
But that's it. Notice that there's no call to action, like PM me if you want details on how you could be like Audrey, and why. Because that's hype. And hype is the kryptonite that challenges our incredible profession. Unless you're someone who's personally earned six figures or more, or mentored someone to six figures and above, then don't claim that you have. Because your network will know that you haven't, and you'll kill your credibility. And on the other hand, if you have mentored someone to six figures, your network knows that this is just another success story. It's just another reason to come join your party. It's another reason to take you out for a drink. And what if you're not even a little tech savvy, and you don't want to take the time to create your own photos? Well, let's give a huge shout out to the Isagenix sales team for the brand new release of the Social Media Image Library. You guys, this is so awesome. We got a sneak peek. It's live right now. It rocks. It's under isagenixbusiness.com in the tools section. And what you're going to find is a series of photos that you can literally download and post to your wall. Many of them don't say Isagenix. Some do, but the company does such an incredible job at listening to the feedback from the field that they've created this tool specifically based on our needs. Exciting? Another great tool for you guys to use is videos. Videos are about as powerful as it gets. It gives your network the opportunity to really get a sense for who you are. They're incredibly effective. Here's just one example. This is called the interview technique, where Zach interviews Chris Harder on a beach in St. John. Very, very simple conversation, and it had tons of comments, 96 shares, and nearly 200 likes. So always look for little moments to take videos and post them to your wall. And for those of you who are camera shy, this is a great way for you to get a little uncomfortable and put yourself out there.
How many of you feel like you already have some new tools to help take your business to the next level? How many of you would like just one more ninja trick? No, you don't understand. I mean one more, I can't believe that they just shared that strategy from the big stage type ninja trick.
Whoa. What strategy?
The strategy.
The strategy?
They deserve it. Do you guys feel like you deserve it? The strategy.
Well, we didn't talk about this, but I agree. You guys absolutely deserve it. This is a big deal.
You guys have to understand, we're going to share something that most people in our profession don't know exists. We're going to share a strategy that you can learn. If you can learn how to master it, it's arguably the most important component to building network marketing success. And that strategy, ready? Is how to make your list. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking, how to make my list? What do you mean? I have my cell phone, I have my memory jogger, right? Let me ask you a bigger question. The question is, who do you know? I bet you have access to people and never knew it. I bet you have access to personal trainers, network marketers, successful salespeople, real estate professionals. In fact, I bet you have access to a very, very targeted niche market that's going to make filling out that memory jogger a lot easier. Secretly, I think Mark Zuckerberg loves network marketing. And that's why he invented something called Facebook Graph Search. All you have to do is type in something like, people I know who blank. And Facebook's going to populate everyone in your network and your friend's network and their friend's network and their friend's network who meet that criteria. You guys getting this? For example, people I know who like golf. It's going to populate a list. And you're going to see you can select all sorts of demographics of people in locations that you want them to be. And Facebook's going to narrow that list down. And don't worry, we made a video on the ins and outs of this for you also. So now, when you go to make your list, or you help your team or new associate make their list, never, ever, ever again can someone say to you, I don't know any network marketers. And never, ever, ever, ever can you say that again either. Do you guys get this? Do you guys get the power of this?
So there you have it. You have strategies, tools, and some how-tos. How many of you are excited to immediately apply what you've learned to your business? Awesome. I mentioned that last year was our first celebration. It was actually my very first company event, and there were 3 of us. I remember clear as day, we were sitting in the audience, and Susan Sly just finished a brilliant talk. And Zach looked at me, calm as can be, and he said, we're going to be on that stage training next year. And Justin and I looked at each other and we said, is he crazy? How? We're brand new, how? And we asked him and he said, I don't know how, but I know why. And what Zach is about to share with you, I believe, is why we're here. So I'd like to invite you all to open up your hearts bigger than they've ever been. Listen so closely that it hurts. Put down anything that's distracting you, phones, notebooks, pens. Uncross your legs, take it in. Because what he's about to share has the ability to change your life. You ready, babe? Ready, babe?
Yeah. So what happens when everyone around you starts to get put off by the fact that you're elevating your life, and all of a sudden you've changed, and they start to freak out, poke holes in what you're doing, tell you you're in over your head, that this can't work, that it's just a pipe dream, that people don't really make any money doing these kinds of things, that you should just keep your day job, stop thinking that you're special or better than anyone else, that you should stop living in a fantasy land, that no matter what, you're just never going to be anything more than what you are right now, and that you should just quit. And I am absolutely not here to tell you not to quit. That's not what this is about. This is about a concept that puts you in a place that goes beyond the possibility of quitting. A concept that once ingrained in your heart will propel you into a spectrum you'd never previously thought possible, and it's possibly the greatest how I can teach you. And it's time for you to take a journey that every single successful person in this room has taken and is still on. And it's time for you to begin on a path that's going to challenge every fiber of your being. One in which you will truly discover who you are and not who you thought you were supposed to be. And as you begin on this quest, you're going to begin to feel something pulling and tugging at you. You're going to hear those people, those naysayers, those doubters begging and pleading you not to go. And here's why. And if I could get a spotlight on the flip chart, here's why. Because you're leaving their tribe. See, when you were born into a community. You were born into a tribe. And just like tribes of ancient villages, they have their rituals, their customs, the way that they gather water, the way that they hunt. Everything they have is all that they know. And they are right about everything because the possibility of wrong does not exist in the mind of someone who knows no other realm of possibility. But intuitively, you've known something must exist. Some greater existence. People must hunt other ways. People must gather other ways. People must have other rituals. You have new ideas. You have different thoughts. You're exhausted from being told that your concepts are silly or far-fetched. You know that you're born for more. And you know that in order to do that, you've got to start to venture out into the unknown. And so you begin to leave, and out of nothing more than extreme fear, they do all that they know how to do, and that's try and protect you. See, your tribe loves you. Your tribe wants to keep you safe because they believe anything other than their way is unsafe, and therefore it's dangerous to you. But eventually, you build up the courage to leave. And along the way, you grow bigger and bigger, stronger and stronger. Everything about you begins to get brighter and bolder. In fact, you begin to attract others who share the same beliefs, same paradigms, people who are open and looking and seeking just the way you are. And what amazes you most is that you notice you've changed. The people around you have changed. In fact, you take a moment and you realize something that you've never realized before. You realize that your old tribe lives in black and white. And for the first time in your life, you're living in color. But then something happens. The journey challenges you. Your new water well that you just built for your new tribe, it breaks. People are getting sick. And before you know it, your new tribe has fallen completely apart. And so what do? Well, you resort to what's comfortable. And you go back to your old tribe. And you put up with the I told you so's and the why didn't you just listen to us in the first place, and you literally squeeze yourself back into the box. And you stay there for a while. But then something begins to stir again. Because you remember what it's like living in color. You know how much more enjoyable life can be, no matter how unpredictable. Your soul, it aches to live in the light. And you make a decision powered by unwavering faith that you're going to leave your old tribe for good. Now, not angrily, and not to prove anything to anyone, and not to show anyone up, but rather to truly step out into the world and be a bearer of permission. Because when you leave this time, you leave with the awareness of how bright you can shine. You leave with the knowing that there's another way. You leave with the belief that others can follow if they so choose. And if they don't, that it doesn't matter. Because as long as your light grows brighter and brighter, more people like you will find you. And in turn, your tribe, your new tribe is going to expand to new heights that you'd never thought possible. And then one day you look back and guess what happens? You notice something about your old tribe. You notice that one by one, they start to come. One by one, they start to believe. One by one, they're opening to a new possibility. And all because you went first. All because you took a stand. All because you said, with or without you, I'm going to let the world know who I am. And here's my question to you, to all of you. How willing are you? How willing are you to take the greatest risk of your life so that you may create the greatest reward in the lives of others? See, I have a belief that if you're standing on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So push the limit and push it more. Because guess what? The people in black and white, the ones who stay here, they're going to talk about you anyway. So give them something to talk about. And you want to know what your brand is? Here it is. You're the flavor of the month, every month. You are a tribal leader. Your product is freedom, peace of mind, prosperity, fulfillment, and excitement. And so if somebody asks you, do you sell Isagenix? You say no. I sell freedom, excitement, prosperity, and fulfillment. Would you like to buy some? Now, the ones who don't support you, the black and white tribe, the haters, the ones living in their box, the ones who you're convinced just don't get it, they're actually the ones that are helping you the most. They're your greatest teachers. Be grateful for them. Because they help you gain clarity on who you truly are. They help validate the direction that you're going. They validate your reasons for choosing you. And here's something that all of you are ready to hear. You'll be where you want to be when you stop trying to explain where you are. There were days in which I believed that a reprieve from some of the pain I was experiencing would never cease. Days that were absolutely frustrating, debilitating, depressing, and yet I stand here today with all of you, so fulfilling one of my greatest dreams, and I am so grateful for those dark hours, so grateful, because I stand here in front of you as a man who just a couple of years ago, I could not stand in the shower because my tears brought me to my knees with shame, disappointment, and guilt. I couldn't open my mouth because I believed that I was no one to be speaking. But something kept my heart open. Something was able to pierce the veil. Something was able to guide me back to where I stand today, right now, in this moment, a place that I yearned to be. And that was the light of others. It was the people that shined for me when I was unwilling to shine for myself. It was those around me that reminded me what it was like to live in color. And now it's your turn. It's your turn to shine for others. It's your turn to show up in ways more powerfully than you ever thought possible. It's your turn. It's your turn to become the passionate, joyful, inspiring, trusting, authentic powerhouse who we know you to be. And so I'll leave you with this. The path of the tribal leader is there for you. The lessons that await all of you, should you choose to take this path, are abundant and full of gifts. But here's what comes with this choice. You ready? Lion or lamb, shepherd or sheep, captain or crew, fisherman or fish, tribal leader or too scared to try. And so now that the lights get turned on, like Peter talked about, I know who she is. I know who I am. So the only question that remains is, who will you choose to be? Thank you guys so much. We love you.